Tuesday morning, December 23rd, 2025. It is the Beating the Book podcast MegaPod for week 17 in the National Football League. I will channel Will Hill, my co-host on this MegaPod, and say, I can't believe it's week 17. My God. Live from the Sirius XM studios, Wynn Las Vegas, swanky studios. Jeremiah Crow, John Goulet, making this all happen on this end. Appreciate it as always. We are ready to do this, and we have a leader in the clubhouse who is making a mockery of this MegaPod title now, handicapping-wise. We'll get to all that with our pillars of the show, Todd Wishnev from his mom's Cork Attic. And Todd also mentioned to me that when I said, hey, when is the MegaPod this week? Because we're obviously doing it earlier to avoid Christmas. We'll also have an early one next week to avoid New Year's Day. What was your reaction, Todd? You're like, you're costing me money doing this MegaPod. Wasn't that it? Something like that?
Well, we've got a lot of college basketball and college football to watch, and I don't understand how anyone can do something as inhumane as asking a person to work on a MegaPod when watching college basketball.
I happen to be on. Can we say that your pick this morning was in a year where you are up well over 100 units in college basketball, which I'm not making that up, people. The man is up over 100 units.
I believe it's 122.14 if you want to be fair.
122.14 units. Not making that number up. That this morning's pick was your worst pick of all of them? Was that correct? Would you say?
Well, but I got it back with the over with the 8 minutes. Did you get that one?
You got it back, but some of us were doing a show and didn't get it back.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
My point. Inhumanity. Yeah, that wasn't a good one. I was too early. I usually never bet at the 4-minute commercial, the first commercial, the 16-minute commercial, and I just got a little over physiculated and went too quickly and
premature physiculation.
Yes.
Yeah. That's okay. You're now up 122 units. We'll forgive you. Todd's Discord doing great things. College Hoops at T Wishnev on Twitter for Todd, the star of the Showtime docuseries Action, of course, still available on Showtime. And Will Hill at not the Will Hill, not from his mom's Cork Attic. Willie, it's happening.
What's going on? Yeah, usually the year goes by pretty quickly, but with the way it's gone on this podcast, it feels like week 117. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs, Gilly.
This has not been our most stellar collective year. Todd is the only one treading water right now. Todd,
Willie is extremely consistent. He will give you a 1 and 2. If you want one, he will give you one. Yes.
If you're looking for a 1 and 2, he's your guy. He
doesn't give you an 0 and 3 and then a 2 and 1 and then another 0 and 3. He just plods along. He gives you a 1 and 2 and a 1 and 2. It's like the old Wisconsin.
Shut the fuck up, please. It's Christmas.
How about that? And our rotating guest this week, he comes to us. He's been on, by the way, MegaPod historian Tim Lawson has this to say about our guest this week. MegaPod historian Tim Lawson in commemoration of the 15th year of the MegaPod. 15 years! He said, Ben Wilson is making just his second appearance on the NFL MegaPod. His debut came in Week 15 last season, making him the most recent debut in the show's history. However, this is Ben's first MegaPod episode with Gill as the host, as his initial appearance came during one of the 2 episodes Gill missed last season following his mother's passing, with Todd filling in as host. Did I miss 2? I don't even remember that I missed 2. We'll pretend that first outing without Gill doesn't count, as Ben looks to bounce back from his 1 and 2 debut. Also, well, first of all, we'll get to that in the next note momentarily. But first, let's welcome Ben Wilson, the man who will be the most famous human being, non-Stormy Bonatoni division, to ever come out of VSiN. Ben, what's happening?
Hey, well, last year, not only did I get shortchanged, Gil, with you not being here, but there was so much decorum and professionalism from Todd. He was completely inauthentic. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people only know Todd through this particular program or VSiN or Showtime's docuseries Action. But for those of us who have interacted with him in the real world, he is just as obnoxious and crazy in normal everyday social settings as he is on this show. So to come on the show for the first time last year, Todd was so buttoned up. He was trying to be so professional. I was like, Todd, who are you? I don't even recognize you. And then his Hashemness immediately by virtual osmosis rubbed off on me. And I had one of the most sickening beats of the year last year when the Jaguars were up a touchdown with like 5 minutes left against the Jets, catching 3.5 at home, and somehow lost the game by 7. So I'm very grateful to count this as my true debut.
Todd is a lot of things. A multitasker, being a host and also being wacky and zany. not among his strengths. Todd, would you agree?
No, I had to button it up. Sometimes when they give you the key, look, I'm typically the shooting guard. I'm the Jordan typically. Sometimes I have to step back and be the little white Paxson guy, and if that's true, sometimes that's what I've got to do. I button it up and be professional, pass the ball and hit the occasional open three. And that's what I had to do on those particular two hosting occasions. I didn't see Will Hill stepping up to, give the keys to Will Hill. No, because they call him Will Hill Brosmer. They don't want to give him the keys. Look out.
By the way, did we even stipulate who was the host, or you guys just decided among yourselves?
I was the host. We decided that I would be the host.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't want to be the host, but somebody had to step up and do it.
By the way, lost in that. Did you just call me the little white Paxson guy? Is that what you just called me? Something like that?
I'm just saying that the host has to be the distributor. He has to be, he has to be professional, more professional than people who are just out on the wing doing all kind of zany things.
By the way, Ben on Twitter is Ben_Wilson_1. I don't know why I had to make it that difficult, but he did. Ben, where can people find you now? I say you're going to be the most famous because you are for those who don't know, Ben does play-by-play for all kinds of things. Where can people find you now doing play-by-play?
It's a good question. So right now, we'll start with college basketball since Todd is betting, and I'm somewhat personally, I feel personally offended when Todd doesn't text me these days when I'm calling a game and he doesn't have action on it. But I'm doing college hoops for the WCC conference in the regular season, and then the WAC conference in their postseason tournament. Those are all on ESPN Plus. So those are for the most part. I've done a couple other like one-offs. I'll see some of these West Coast teams, Big Ten, Big West, what have you, every once in a while. But for the most part, that's what I'm doing. ESPN Plus during the college hoop season. And then there's a lot of other stuff. I work for the NBA. I do NBA G League, which was one of Todd's greatest insults to me when we were playing tennis. I missed a wide open passing shot, and Todd, without missing a beat, goes, "That's a G League level miss from a G League level broadcaster." I still think about that like once a week. So I do games for the G League play-by-play, and then I do voiceover work for the NBA. So if you ever miss games and you want to see like kind of how the game played out, if you go on the NBA app or NBA.com, I do a lot of the game recaps, like the little 2-3 minute game recap of how the game played out and all that, and that's kind of been the main thing during basketball season. But once we actually start in January, I do the National Lacrosse League for that's ESPN Plus or TSN Plus for those of you north of the border. That season for me starts just after the new year. And then once we get into February, a lot of college baseball for E+, Flow Sports, some different networks, and all that. We kind of get into the crazy season of everything going on.
Damn, Ben, we got a show to do. My God,
sorry. My bad.
Like, so you're doing WCC like Gonzaga and Loyola Marymount and all those guys?
Yes.
No,
UConn, St. John's, Georgetown. Those are the teams in the
West. Thank you.
Thanks for from the guy who begs for me to put an extra mark because he can't figure out that Merrimack is on the extra board. Mr. Stevie Willie Hill Fezzik.
Todd hadn't heard his voice in at least 45 seconds, so he had to say something. He had to say it. He was like, what do I say here?
First of all, Ben Wilson went on a 4-minute soliloquy about every freaking job that he ever had, and is like, well, I'm doing women's badminton on Thursdays at 2.
Hey, I was asked. You want me to answer the question, Todd? I was asked. There's a lot going on.
I'm watching randomly. TV's on the other day. Football had ended. I'm scrolling through, and all of a sudden, there's this Arena Football League game, and there's Ben Wilson on the call. They were replaying. What team is that in the Arena Football League that you were doing?
Yeah, so that game you're watching was the Western Conference Championship from last year. The Vegas Nighthawks. I'm the team broadcaster for them, and they were playing the San Diego Strike Force in what was just an instant classic that went to overtime. So yeah,
I was like, why was Ben Wilson on my TV doing this game? And didn't you say there was some historical thing to that game? What was that? What was the story?
Imagine if in the NFL you had a team play a divisional round game on a Monday night and then have to turn around and play the championship game on a Friday night because they could not afford to pay their own arena stadium venue to host the championship game. That's like if the Chicago Bears make it to the NFC Championship game and Soldier Field, they're like, yeah, actually, you guys are behind on your bills, and they have to go to LA or something on 4 days rest. That's what the IFL Western Conference Championship was like.
And by the way, don't feel offended by Todd. It's not reserved for you. Todd refers to me as a, quote, mediocre broadcaster at least 5 times a week, I think.
First of all, I love Ben. He knows that I love Ben, and I get very excited when I see him on Fox Sports 1 or on Sun Channel. I go, that's Ben! Or if we're at the game and I can talk the guy into letting me come down to the thing and heckle him at the side. The guy wouldn't let me go on the floor to go say hi to Ben. I was like, that's my friend. He's right over there. He's doing the game right there. I'll be there. You can watch me for 2 minutes. Just let me go over and say hi. So finally they let me come in, and I came in, and I think I scared his partner.
I'll never forget. Todd comes down to say, I think it was the Grand Canyon Cal Baptist game at the WAC tournament last year. Dave Miller, who was he used to be an assistant at USC in the NBA. And he just looked like he had this like pale white ghost look on his face. Like, who the hell came? Like, what kind of godforsaken person are you associating yourself with? It was so funny.
What Todd didn't know is that Ben is texting me the whole time, being like, "Jesus, Todd, could you leave me alone?" That kind of thing. Like, could you take him back to the seats? Kind of thing. Menace to society.
Ben, hey, Ben, what's up, Ben?
Todd, let's get the hard part out of the way. Recite the records. This is not fun for me.
Well, last week it was pretty close. I was only 21-3. Gilly came in at 21-24. He was sniffing a chance to win one here, and he decided to go in the instant NFL Classic, Seattle -1.5 and under 43. I went over 43 in that same game, and that pretty much spelled doom for my poor friend Gill Alexander as he takes an 0-3. And to add insult to injury, it was the third one was the Commanders +7, his home.
I just tell you something. I didn't miss a game on guessing lines last week. I don't know why I don't stick with the first instinct and just play those on MegaPod, which is what I'm going to do today. But I hate myself. Is I guess what I'm saying.
So Gilly moves to 21-27, regardless of how he feels about himself. He moves to 21-27. His teaser lost, so he goes 5-11 on teasers. I went 2-1 to go to 23-22-3. So if you're playing at home, I'm one game over 500. He is 6 games under 500. There's only 6 plays left. So I'm not sure what the magic number is, but it's very small. And I won my teaser to go to 7-9 to tie Willie because Willie lost his teaser. So now I'm 7-9. Willie's also 7-9. Willie gave everybody knows what you did 1-2. You go to 14-30, 2-2, 7-9 on teasers. And our guest, Jeffrey Parles, which is how we know Ben Wilson in the first place, he let the guest chair down, going 0-2-1 to fall to 26-20-2. And the guest chair lost the teaser too, and the teaser goes to 9-7. So that's where we are. Going into 6 picks left, and I feel that my friend Gilly, I didn't want to beat him this bad, but hey, what can you do?
It's not over. It ain't over. Party's not over.
Not over
We
yet.
shall see. Dumbo of the week. I only have one coach nominee. See if you guys agree with this. John Harbaugh with the Ravens up 20. What was the score? They were up. I want to get the exact score.
They were up 11.
They were up
24-13, I think.
I believe you're correct. 24-13. And Derrick Henry, who gained over 100 yards in this game, disappeared, never to return to the game. After the game, John Harbaugh was asked about this. He says, well, if I look back on it now, I'd rather have Henry out there. Absolutely. I'm not arguing with that at all on a fundamental level. Awesome. That's your Dumbo of the week. Did anybody beat that? I feel like there was no other coach that really met the standards of the Dumbo of the week.
I just don't understand the answer. What kind of answer is that?
I guess what he meant was he's on the defensive side of the ball, so he could have like chimed in on it, I guess. But like he didn't feel there was an opportunity, really the right time to do it. I don't get it.
Seems like he's out there too. It seems like they're going to make a change.
You think so after all these years?
I would think so.
Jeez. This is, by the way, with 2 weeks left, this is not anything to do with Dumbo of the week, but with 2 weeks left in an NFL season, I was saying this morning on the radio side, and I've watched football as we all have for like decades on end. I don't think there's ever been a year where this much has been settled, seeding aside, with 2 weeks left in a season. All we have in each conference is one division, Carolina versus Tampa Bay in the NFC South, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore in the AFC North. And even those, by the way, the AFC North one, Pittsburgh's magic number is 1. Carolina and Tampa play each other week 18, so that's not decided yet. and then one wild card position in each conference. And those are just mano a mano. Green Bay and Detroit. Detroit has to win out. Green Bay has to lose out for Detroit to get in. So Green Bay's magic number is 1. And then in the AFC, it's really Houston versus Indianapolis. Indy has to win both their last 2 games. Houston would have to lose their last 2 games. That's it. Everything else is just seeding.
NFC West, too. NFC West is up for grabs, too. And the AFC West. Yeah.
Right. But that's just seeding.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
Ultimately, there's a division involved, but it's just seeding. I'm just talking about in and out of playoffs. It's never been this simple. So it sort of feels like parity is gone this year. It's very strange.
It's ironic because anyone in the same year that this is the case, anyone can win. So you have basically a situation where all they're playing for is seeding. And by the way, seeding doesn't matter because they all stink anyways. So it's like It's like an irony of everything doesn't matter. And we're just going to throw everybody in a hat for the playoffs and see what comes up, but anyone can win.
Number 1 seed, both the Seahawks and 49ers have it on their racket. That's tennis for Ben Wilson, just so you can understand what we're talking about here.
Thank you.
Tennis professional Ben Wilson, who once lost to Todd Wishnev, allegedly. I might have bet on that.
I was very thin at the time.
You were very thin.
Gil middled because Todd.
I middled. That's right.
Todd, I was dumb and I laid like 4.5 games, and then Todd was up 3-2. Got a little hubris, and Gil came back the other side, and I won the next 4 games.
That's right. I did. I played it perfectly. Niners and Seahawks both control their destiny. In other words, because they both play each other the final week in the NFC, and then 6 teams can get the number 1 seed still in the AFC. Let me just ask before we get into all the other stuff, before we get in game and all the bets. Let's just ask the very simplest question of all that we on sports betting shows rarely ask because it's such a simple question. But usually if we go to like a Super Bowl party or we're interacting with non-betting friends, everybody asks, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Let's ask it a little differently. Who's going to be in the Super Bowl? Let's just ask a very simple question. Todd, to start with you. Who right now, if you had to guess,
Start with someone else. I got to think of it through.
Ben Wilson, our beloved guest. Who's in the Super Bowl right now? If I held you to that, who do you think's in it?
I actually feel like NFC, I'd have a decent amount of conviction in saying the Rams, which is ironic that there's a good chance they're not. They're going to be like the 5 seed. I still feel like the Rams are head and shoulders the best team in the NFC. And honestly, as crazy as that game was last Thursday, the loss, it even cemented that for me even more. Like all these things that could have gone wrong. If all these guys banged up, your best receivers out. Rain, terrible elements. Your coach just had a kid a few days before, and you were the right side for 99.9% of that game, had no business losing. I came away from that feeling even more confident in, and obviously they're going to have to do it the hard way now, but I still think it's the Rams out of the NFC. I mean, Buffalo, I guess, but you can't stop a nosebleed on the ground when it gets to January. That's usually not a good thing. No matter who your quarterback is. So I would just tepidly say Rams, Bills at this point, but I don't feel good about it at all. I'd probably think like the Jags or Texans. I think whatever team ends up winning that division, I'd actually feel like is probably like the sneaky good value play to come out of the conference.
And think about what you just said about the Rams having the most conviction on the Rams. The Rams are currently the 6th seed. That's how weird this season is. Will, same question.
I will go Seahawks versus the Chargers.
Wow. I will go Chargers. I thought I was going to have the headline. I will go Chargers versus either Rams or 49ers. I can't decide. But I'm with you on the Chargers. I feel like they are super overlooked. And I can't believe I got there with them. But that's going to trigger a matchup bet for me at some point this week. Todd, you've had time to think about it.
How about the Jags?
Is that your pick?
I don't really want to pick them, but I'm just saying.
Good.
I guess I just feel like it's going to be poetic justice for a guy who never makes it every year. They get screwed some which way, and finally in the year that they don't really have it, they really shouldn't get there, will maybe get there. And I'm going to go with the Buff Bills. The Buff Bills to get to the Super Bowl. Although the weaknesses of the team are glaring, you still have Josh Allen. So, in a game where it's all just thrown up in the air, who knows who's going to win? I don't know. That Josh Allen guy is pretty good. So
I'm
going to go
with
with
the NFC.
Buff Bills with the, I want to say the Packers.
Oh, Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Packers. I think the Packers could sneak in there somehow, even though I think the Rams, I agree with Ben that the Rams are the best team. But the Rams, they're not like dominant. They're dominant on offense, but on defense, I don't find them dominant, So
just think about your play. Bills, Rams, again, that would be the 6, or you said Bills, Rams, you said?
Bills, Packers,
you said. 6th seed in the AFC currently with 2 weeks left, 7th seed in the NFC currently with 2 weeks left. And by the way, just to give you the thing about the Rams, what you just said, like, oh, they're not even that dominant. Is it time for me to tell you what historical DVOAs are now? Listen to this.
Are they going to say they're great on offense or on defense?
I'm just saying the best DVOA teams, this is Aaron Schatz's proprietary stat, DVOA, analyzing football on a granular level, play-by-play against average. Every play since 1978. Every team since 1978. Best team through 15 games. Best 3 teams, no shockers. Epic teams. 2007 Pats, 1991 Skins, 1985 Super Bowl Shuffle Bears. 4th through 15 games, the 2023 Ravens, followed by, you ready for this? The 2025 Rams at 5 and the 2025 Seahawks at 6.
Come on.
That's the smell test.
Come on. There's something wrong with the model.
I don't believe it either.
It's ridiculous is what it is.
I don't believe it either. Although, I will say, by the way, the current DVOA standings through 15 games this year, the Colts are still 4th. So come on. What are we doing?
I believe Aaron has the Lions is the 3rd best team to ever miss the playoffs. If they do miss the playoffs, 3rd best team in the history of DVOA to miss.
I think you are correct about that also. Just to let you know, in terms of DVOA rankings, some of the teams that might be headed to the playoffs that are not inside the top 10, Pittsburgh's 11, Buffalo's 12, Chargers are 14th, Bears are 16th, Patriots are 17th, Bucks, currently on the outside looking in, but possible, 18th, and the Carolina Panthers 24th.
Wait, the Chargers are worse than the Steelers in DVOA this year?
Yes.
Did you watch the Chargers-Steelers game?
Yeah. I think the Chargers are really good. Anyway.
I mean, I don't know if they're... Gilly, they might not be really good, but they're better than the Steelers.
But the point of all that is to just highlight how this year is not like... I don't think we're being prisoner of the moment. There's been no other year like this. We're this deep into the season. Not only do we kind of know who's in, with rare exception, but none of us have it. Like, have you ever had this little conviction? And I'm with Ben. Like, I think the Rams are probably head and shoulders above as the best team in the NFC, but they got to play it on the road. So I don't know. Number 1 seed matters so much.
We haven't had conviction because we had the Chiefs dynasty and we had the Patriots dynasty. So when you have dynasties, you had conviction, and now those dynasties are gone. And the Rams
the Chiefs weren't like a no doubt about it. They're going to win it. I mean, they got there, but they were underdog in a lot of those games a couple years ago.
In the later years, Willie, in the later years, in the earlier years, come on, they were a juggernaut.
I mean, the first Super Bowl they won, they trailed by double digits in every playoff game. The Texans had them down 24-0. The Titans had them down double digits.
Right, but we all knew that they were. Everyone was thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. The Chiefs are down, but they're going to come back." The Chiefs. I think we forget how amazing the Chiefs were considered back in those first few years of Mahomes. When they finally became who they became, everybody was thinking, "You can't beat the Chiefs." You don't remember that?
I think different years had different sort of feelings about the Chiefs. I don't think they were all one sort of feeling.
No, the later years I agree, but the earlier years when they first, when they'd first advanced to like being this juggernaut, I remember thinking, "Oh my God, no one could beat the Chiefs,"
But they won one in 19, and then they won a few years without winning it. Then they had the 2 back-to-back, and one of those back-to-back was the year they lost to the Raiders on Christmas, and they were underdog against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. They were underdog against the Bills and the Ravens.
Maybe I'm totally wrong.
All in the playoffs. So I don't know.
Okay. By the way, I could be wrong.
Todd and I we were together on that one where they lost to the Raiders. If you had said to us that day, "Oh, the Chiefs are still going to win the Super Bowl," we would have just laughed like, "There's no chance. Team is so bad."
We didn't get charged for sitting at Caesars because it was like a Saturday and there was no games, because we would not have sat there when they came in with the new exorbitant, "Oh, you can only sit your tuchus down there if you spend $150 and blah blah blah." And I mean, you want to watch women's badminton called by Ben Wilson? Sorry, it's $160.
Well, it's Ben Wilson. I mean, got to charge for that. I get it. Well, last question on this before we move on. Forget season win totals pre-flop and what their odds were and all that, because obviously then you can make an assessment on that. But just based on your thinking and performance from last year, who's the single most disappointing team in football this year? Will?
Either the Ravens or the Lions. I'll say the Ravens, I guess.
I think it's the Lions, but I think you're right. It's one of those two. I think Todd's right about the Ravens. The most overrated team week to week by betting market this year for like the longest period of time, even into last week. Todd, same answer. Ben, same answer.
I think it has to be.
I think the Ravens.
Yeah. It's not Washington, right? Because Washington had too many high leverage wins last year. So people were kind of expecting, even before the injuries, they were kind of expecting it to be a little worse than last year. But Detroit's got to think, God, our window, and Baltimore, right? Our window is shutting quick, which Washington doesn't have that problem with Jaden. So interesting. All right, Todd, any in-game before we get to the best bets?
Yeah, I just want to pat myself on the back for doing something very smart and maybe just a discussion of why you look at things the way you look at them. But, the whole game, I'm watching this Panther-Bucks game, and I'm thinking, there's really no difference here. One team gets it, they move it. The other team gets it, they move it. And all of a sudden, the Buccaneers go up 17-13 on a touchdown, and the line is 3.5 at that point. Panthers plus 3.5. I quickly ran to the machine and got the alternate +4 minus 136. So basically, if they end up losing by 4, they were down by 4 at that time, 17-13. I could still push, and I just. The mistake was I should have triple bet that because I loved it so much. I knew that Carolina was coming down. I mean, you've watched enough NFL games to know what looks like a game that's coming down to the end. It's not rocket science at this point. That was going to come down to the end in some field goal. And so, I think that's how you have to look at it when you see close games like that and you get an opportunity now. The other team scored, you're getting +4, down by 4. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so that was one of them. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about was the now it's not coming to mind. I had it before.
And what I thought was a kind of clear and obvious one was the Niners last night against the Colts, which was a 1-score game at halftime. But it's like you knew the Colts could never stop them. So the Niners at -1.5 a point in the second half, it could have not worked out. Like Rivers doesn't throw that pick 6, then maybe it doesn't work out. But I thought that was a pretty stark play last night.
Yeah, there was something else that I had, and I should have wrote it down. But if I come back,
let us know.
Yeah.
All right, best bets. We have 3 Christmas games. Then we have 2 on Saturday. Then we have a Sunday slate, which only has 2 afternoon games, and one of them is the Giants and the Raiders. This is a fakakta schedule this week with that. Do we have, I guess we could do the Christmas. Let's start with that. Does anybody's best bet involve any of the 3 Christmas games?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, boy.
Willie. There he goes. Willie. Titans don't play on Christmas, though, Will.
Oh, come on. Man, that was one. I talked about alts and them winning by multiple scores, and I never did it. I just took them plus the 3. I was kicking myself as hard as I could possibly kick myself for that one. What do we have for Chiefs, Broncos?
Chiefs, Broncos.
He's not going to take the Chiefs. I can promise you right now, he's not taking the Chiefs.
By the way, I have it at 13, I think is consensus, or 13.5 maybe. No, 13. Yeah, I'll say 13. It's kind of even between 13 and 13.5. What do you see, Todd?
I think I see it as even both ways. He could have whatever he wants.
All right. Will, either one, make it work for you. What do you
Sympathy
got?
half a point. I will take it. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs plus 13.5.
What?
I thought last week that they would roll over and not be interested. I think this week with Kelsey's possible last home game, a lot of these guys, who knows what this team looks like next year. A lot of these guys possible last home game. I do think they'll bring a better effort. A standalone game, a division rival. I think they'll at least be up for the game. And who are the Broncos to be laying 2 touchdowns on the road? Maybe this quarterback can do something with his legs. I have a hard time getting to 13.5 points. I think this is a little bit of an over adjustment off of what we saw last week and just the injuries. So I will plug my nose and I will take the Chiefs plus 13.5. I mean, the total's 36.5. To be laying 2 touchdowns where the total's 36.5 is just a lot. I'll take the Chiefs plus the points.
Yeah. So what does that come down? What was the total on that game?
36.5 right now.
So that's like 25 to 11, 26 to 12. That kind of thing.
25 to 12. Yeah.
Yeah, due to the conflation on it. So, by the way, 3 games on Thanksgiving: Cowboys, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, and Broncos, Chiefs. Imagine being one of the last 10 entries in Circa Survivor, having that each one right now worth $1.87 million. Total pot $18 million. 10 have advanced a couple weeks now, but they've been saving these teams all year, and you end up with 3 games, each of which features perhaps Josh Johnson in the Cowboys-Commanders game, Max Brosmer in the Lions-Vikings game, and Chris Oladikin in the Broncos-Chiefs game. So only 5 by the way, nobody has the Lions available. Nobody has the Broncos available. So 5 of the remaining 10 entries have the Cowboys, but 5 don't. So 5 of the remaining 10 are forced to take one of those 3 quarterbacks.
Whoa, wait a second. Nobody has Nobody can take the Broncos?
Nobody has Detroit or Denver left.
So, and
5 of the remaining 10 have Dallas left.
So the other 2 have to take the underdogs.
The other 5, follow along, 5 have the Cowboys. The other 5 are forced to take either the Commanders, Vikings, or Chiefs with the fakakta quarterbacks, if I may use that word twice.
Oh, my gosh. And huge underdogs.
So imagine you've gone this far in Circa Survivor, and now you're stuck with this.
That's horrible.
It's brutal.
Well, it's not like the monetization is easy either. I mean, all 3 favorites are laying 7+. It's not as easy as, let me just throw like 100 large on, the money line the other way. Like, it's not that easy.
Because you're right. They're going to make huge bets against their plays this week to try to salvage something, and it's not easy. Laying a whole bunch to make much less.
That's horrible. They're going to go minus 300 on the favorite. So they have to lay 300,000 to win 100,000. Oh my God.
It's even Jack. Like I'm seeing like Lions consensus are like minus 350, Cowboys minus 340. So, I mean, it's even more than that this week.
Oh man. Anybody else with a Christmas Day play at all? No? Nobody. Okay. Ben, you got the first best bet then. What
all right. It was Joe Peter, right? Who did it was the really cool, like the sponsored games. I don't want to steal his thunder, but I just, as the play-by-play guy here, I thought I'd at least, tie an old broadcaster to all these games. So I'm going to start with this is the Dan Deerdorf. I'm not so sure they're not great. Dan Deerdorf, for those who don't remember, was just elite at the double negatives, especially as he got later in his career. I would just start dying laughing every time he'd do one. It's like, why can't you just say they're a really good team? Like, I'm not so sure he's not this awesome quarterback. Ben. What do you say, Will?
Aikman does it now. Aikman does it all the time.
Yeah. I miss Deerdorf was awesome. The Deerdorf team with Dick Enberg was like just one of those underrated, awesome teams as a kid. But I will go to the Houston LA Chargers game. I'm seeing guys for the total. 39.5 pretty much painted. Is that what we all have on the total?
Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Why isn't this working?
Yeah, I have 39.5.
39.5. Yep.
Okay, just making sure. So the Dan Deerdorf, I'm not so sure that they're not actually really good. I think both Houston and the Chargers are really damn good, and specifically the defense. I know this is a low total for a game that is in a pseudo indoor location in SoFi, but give me the under 39.5 in Houston and the LA Chargers. This is going to feel like a playoff matchup. Both teams still have a lot to play for. I mean, the Chargers could still get the 1 seed if things break their way, having the Denver game next week, and they would get the tiebreak if they win that. And Houston's still in play here for the AFC South. We've already seen this game play out as an actual playoff game. It was last year, and the Houston defense completely annihilated Justin Herbert. He had the 4-interception game. That was a pretty rough beat. I think that closed, 42.5, and that was a pretty awful beat if you had the under in what was just a dead nut under game. But you're looking at it now, and you have the worst by far offensive line in the game in the Chargers, and they lose Jamarie Salyer. Another O-lineman goes down last week. Didn't look like a good injury. Obviously, this early in the week, no idea how his status is going to shape up. But would surprise me if he goes or is super effective. On the Houston side, you also have the single worst run protection offensive line in the league, dead last in run block win rate this year, and an offense that has just been anemic. Really, so when C.J. Stroud's made these other world plays, they've looked okay, but that's really what they've banked on. And yet the defense is at the same time, for all those issues on offense, Texans looking at him, number one pass defense on an EPA per play basis this year. They've been awesome. And over the second half of the year from week 8 on, they're 5th in overall defensive EPA. Chargers, same token, 2nd in second half defensive EPA this year. Top 5 against the pass, top 10 against the run. There is really no weak links or holes anywhere on either of these defenses. I get that 39.5 is a low total to stomach when there's no weather impact here, but this is a game that's going to feel like a true first weekend playoff game, like 18-16, 17-15. The kickers are going to be heavily involved, so give me the under 39.5 Texans and Chargers for pick number 1.
I like it. I like the dissertation on it.
I like when Ben does play-by-play and he doesn't do like silly jokes with the color guy that aren't funny, because there's nothing worse than these announcers who do the silly oh yeah, like when we had the wings last night. Oh really, Jim? Oh, it's like, guys, if you're gonna make a joke, make it entertaining.
The Dan Deerdorf call on the double negatives is so good. Will pointed out the Troy Aikman thing a couple weeks ago. I want to say we spent about 20 minutes after that sending double negative texts back to each other about random stuff. Cerebral humor for the double negatives. It's hard to do, right? Like you have to think about it to come up with a logical double negative sentence.
I'm not so sure the Hill family has not been able to eat all the rolls at Texas Roadhouse and put them out of business.
That's right. For example. Great one.
Todd, right. And I love the thing with the banter and the jokes. Like the classic one is that one looked like Donnie's 3-wood off the tee, hooked into the woods. Like, subtle way of saying you have a lot of money and play golf a lot. Like way to be relatable. Yeah.
Todd, your first best bet, which I will be absolutely not be playing.
Right. By the way, what's the quarterback situation in Ravens Packers? It's going to be Malik Willis, or is it going to be Love?
We know.
Or is it going to be
it could be Snoop Huntley and Malik Willis. We don't know.
What about Tyler and Lamar?
The thing I saw from Schefter was that the Packers are not signing. They're not signing an additional quarterback, so they think, and probably Willis, but they think between Love or Willis, one of them is going to be fine.
And what about Lamar and Tyler Huntley?
What about you using Google to find out the answers to these?
I'd rather just ask you guys because I know you're up on it.
Jesus.
Is there any news on Lamar?
No news currently. Could be Snoop.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to a game in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, God.
It's the New York Giants facing the Las Vegas Raiders. I believe the Raiders are -2. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I'm going to go with the G-Men +2. New York Giants +2. This is simply based on the fact that the Las Vegas Raiders, in my opinion,
it's 1.5. I'm sorry.
1.5 everywhere, Todd.
Yeah.
Whatever. New York Giants +1.5. The New York Giants, in my opinion,
microphone. Use your microphone.
The Las Vegas. Well, I have to write stuff down too. The Las Vegas Raiders should not be favored against any football team, and that includes the arena football teams that Ben might make a call on, whether it's the conference finals or not. I don't think this is a real football team. And, I know that they played well in Houston. Did they really, or was that just Houston trying to get out of the game with no injuries and just trying to get to the next game? To me, that kind of had a feeling of like, oh, the Texans aren't giving their A game. I think the Raiders stink out loud. I don't think that's a very controversial opinion. I think the Giants are not good, but they've had a lot of games that they beat the Eagles. They almost beat the Broncos in Denver, probably should have. They've had a lot of close games against tough teams. Now, granted, they're beat up. They don't have Scatterbo anymore. They don't have the receivers. And now it looks like Jackson Dart's not allowed to run. I think that was more a function of Minnesota's defense being pretty good this past week, why the Giants couldn't really move the ball. And I just feel like the Raiders are just not a real football team. And now you're getting plus points And I think the Giants are a better team. And by the way, who's to say that the Giants fans didn't all make vacation plans to go to Vegas to go to that game? And maybe you get like half the stadium as Giants fans. That's very possible. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, take the Giants plus 1.5. That's the Bizarro Super Bowl. That's for the number 1 pick in the draft. Whoever loses that game will get the number 1 pick in the draft because they will have the tiebreaker clinched, I believe, at that point. Then,
but does it even matter if you get the number 1 pick? Nobody knows who's really the number 1 pick in NFL in the draft this year, supposedly.
Well, it matters because the Giants will probably want to trade it and cash it in for more stuff, so it's worth more.
Okay.
That's right. Giants.
But anyways, I never buy into all that. Oh, we want to lose for the draft in football. I just don't buy it. Yeah. It's too hard to control like all those players. Maybe in the NBA they could do it, but in the NFL, these guys, they want to play for their jobs. I just think the Giants are much better than the Raiders. So give me the Giants plus the 1.5 in Allegiant.
The great Brent Musburger, who was kind enough to be on this podcast, the MegaPod, a few weeks back, he showed up at the VSiN studio last week. And because he had to do some voiceover work, by the way, still the pipes are just top level. And he says to me, and I believe he called me Gilly, by the way, for the first time, which was a joy. All right, I was super happy about that. And he says, Gilly, I have the tickets to this Giants Raiders game that we were looking forward to earlier in the year. Put on your Brent Musburger voice. And then we realized it was going to be a terrible game, so I tried to sell them. Couldn't sell them to anybody. So now I've got to tell Arlene, his wife, well, we got a chance to see this young Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. That's what he's telling his wife to like lure her to the game. That was so great. He's telling his wife, 86-year-old Brent Musburger, just trying to coax his wife into this being a good thing.
They got popcorn, Arlene.
That's right. They got good popcorn. By the way, don't slander the food at Legion. Stormy got mad at Kelly and me for doing that the other day.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, she more at Kelly. I didn't get a text. Kelly got me. She was like, "Don't slander that food at Allegiant." Okay, Willie, you're second.
No, it's Gill's. It's your turn.
Oh, so I snake here. Okay, going back to that Chargers game that Ben was talking about, and I agree with pretty much everything that Ben is saying. But I think in the line that the Texans defense is being rated way higher than the Chargers defense is, because everything Ben said leading to the under is correct. I'm way higher on the Chargers defense than most people are. And I do agree the Texans are probably the most talented, but the Chargers are like that defense you see if you love like disciplined, stay in your lane, everybody do their job defensive football. The Chargers are so good at that. They got good players too. The secondary is sneaky good. I love the Chargers here. What is it, 2 now? I would say consensus, yes? 2?
2.5. That's not going to matter.
2.
Mostly
Chargers.
2, yeah.
It's not going to matter, Todd says. Chargers -2 is the play for me. For the second week in a row, I had the Chargers last week on guessing lines. I took and that worked out against the Cowboys. I had the Chargers yesterday on guessing lines against the Texans. I guessed 3 on this. Anything below 3 to me is a play. So Chargers -2 is my first play. And then San Francisco 49ers -3 against the Chicago Bears. Both teams with huge implications. This is Sunday Night Football. Niners still can get the number 1 seed. Bears, by the way, can still get the number 1 seed. What is that, Todd? What is that?
I'm holding this up so you don't think I wrote it after the fact. But
what does it say?
Of my 3 teams, one of them is Niners.
Speak in the mic, Todd. We can't hear you.
As you can see, from one of my 3 picks here that I wrote down before, I wanted you to make sure you realize that I'm not trying to cheat you. Niners is one of my picks right here of my 3 picks. So if you're going to get upset that I take the same team as you, don't.
So as I was saying, my pick has nothing to do with the Sunday night game. No, I'll stick with it. I'm on the Niners. Again, Bears, by the way, have designs on the number 1 seed as well, but they need help. I just think the Niners are a more complete football team. The Bears have won 6 games trailing in the final 2 minutes, and they now are, I want to get this updated correctly, in terms of their turnover numbers. They pulled that game Saturday night against Green Bay out of their proverbial you-know-what. Once again, recovering an onside kick, only the 5th onside recovery in 49 attempts this year. And that's what allowed them to force overtime and then give it to Caleb Williams. That was an unbelievable pass to DJ Moore in the end zone to win that game. But nonetheless, their turnovers, are you ready for this? Turnover differential for the Chicago Bears plus 21. Yeah, I'll take the Niners. Niners for me are the play -3. All right, Will, you're second.
I'll go with the Browns plus 3.5 against the Steelers. The Steelers have actually impressed me. I if you told me a couple of weeks ago they're going to win a playoff game or make a run in the AFC, I would have said absolutely no chance in hell. With how wide open the AFC is and how Pittsburgh has played and how Rodgers played, I don't think it's insane that they win a playoff game and then who knows after that. But that being said, there's a chance they take the field Sunday with nothing to play for. If the Packers beat the Ravens, which they're favored to do, this division's over and this turns into a preseason game, an exhibition game where you're getting 3.5 at home. The Browns have been feisty at home anyway. They just kept it to a 3-point game against the Bills, division rival. I think they'll be up for the game regardless. So I will take the 3.5 with the Browns, and maybe for my sake, this game doesn't matter. Plus, no Metcalf, and that is really the only threat the Steelers have at receiver here. So I can't see that suspension being overturned. I will take the points here with Cleveland.
I'm coming to terms with the fact that I just might have lost the Megapod with that matching pick.
Todd, it wasn't my fault. You can't blame me for it because I wrote it down.
I can't blame you. I'm not blaming you. Fair is fair.
Yes. Now, okay. I just want to get Willie's. What are we giving Willie on the Browns for points?
Willie on the Browns for points.
3.5 everywhere.
3.5. Yeah, 3.5.
Will, is Rodgers going to do the thing like him and Favre's career so intertwined in so many ways? Is Rodgers going to take a dive as Myles Garrett comes around the edge, a la Favre against Strahan?
I don't think so. It's amazing how the similarities matched up, though, isn't it?
I hated when that happened, by the way.
Me too.
They made a mockery. That was a mockery of the sport.
His linemen didn't like it either. His linemen were pissed off.
Me and Bradford Hill also did not like that because he's a buttoned-up kind of guy like me. Doesn't take flags. Anyways, I will take. Oh, by the way, I remembered what I wanted to say on the in-game. At halftime of the Titans-Chiefs game, the score was 9-6, 15 points.
Oh, yeah.
The over-under was 31.5, 16.5 more. That was absurdity, folks. Absurdity. Anything under 17 points in the second half of an NFL game is ridiculous unless it's like minus 100 degrees and no one has moved the ball 1 yard. That's the only way you can be playing it this low at this time. The teams had moved the ball in the first half. They were just selling for field goals. Over 31.5 was like a ridiculous number. I jumped on that right away and it won easily. I just wanted to say that when you get these numbers that are ridiculously low like that, it's accidental. It's going over. So anyways, that was the thought.
So is your second one the Niners?
No. My Niners was my third one. My second one, what do you have? I'd like side and total. Well, we know what the side is. The Browns are 3.5. And the total in the Steelers Browns. Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cleveland Brownies. Some people like when I talk like a Pittsburgher and that. And I'm going to talk like that for this pick and that. So just tell me what the over-under is already before I lose my appetite and I can't have a big meal for lunch.
Let me just say this. Before we give you that, this is what I was going to say earlier from Megapod historian Tim Lawson, also the host of the Better Life podcast. He said, I don't know if you saw this. He put up a poll last week. He said he ran a Twitter poll. The Megapod historian, he's referring to himself as the Megapod historian, ran a Twitter poll asking fans to vote for their favorite Todd Wishnev bit. In third place, the Dolphins song. Third place for the Dolphins song. Number 2, the Steelers fan. What you just did finishes number 2. Number 1, the Gill loses play call, taking the top spot. Play-by-play.
That has a lot of creativity week to week.
It does. All right. Your total is either 33.5 or 34. What do you guys see?
I see mostly 34.
34, yeah.
34.
Okay. I'm going over 34. Now, you get 2 benefits to this play. Benefit number 1 is they make these goddamn lines too low when the weather is the way it is. I know the weather's going to be terrible, blah, 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 blah. That's why you see a number of 34. How many times, like we saw in the Miami-Cleveland game earlier this year, they did the same thing, and of course the game goes over. Now, it's because the smarty pantses like the Stevie Fezzicks of the world, they start getting all about their weather. Oh, we got the weather. Everyone quick, get on the under, the weather. And then they go nuts and blow the thing so far down that it gets to ridiculous levels. So it's too much. It's too much weather. It's enough, Stevie. Calm down with the goddamn weather. Yes, it's a factor. It's not as big a factor as all these goddamn smarty pants feel like. And let me tell you something else. If you win this bet, you get to laugh at those idiots for being overly zealous in their weather prognostication. So you get a double, what?
Added benefit.
Yes, it's an added benefit. You get to laugh at the idiots. So over 34 in the Browns. I don't understand how you're going to make an NFL game 34. Now, I know the Browns stink, and who knows who's playing quarterback. Whoever the quarterback is could mess up and give you a touchdown accidentally. And it's not like the Steelers' offense has been that bad lately. And okay, fine, it's going to rain. I know the Steelers play in the rain all the time. It's fine. I know it's windy. Is it too windy for Jaylen Warren around the left side? He's going to get all the way. Pittsburgh Steelers, here we go.
See, on those, I prefer that you wouldn't find the mic on those.
It's a touchdown. They always say that in the sports book when I'm there. A touchdown. He went out there. He went out to get a touchdown. I'm like, what is that? AHT? He went out to get a touchdown? Yes, they got a touchdown. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Who's your terrible towel guy? Myron, what's his name? Myron Cope?
Myron, pumping iron with Myron Cope. Myron Cope
Someone threw up that video of him talking in that accent for like 2 minutes, talking about the origin of the terrible towel.
Oh, it was fantastic. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, it was great. Yeah,
just like terrible towel.
You got to pump an iron with Myron because he used to drink Iron City beer. There used to be a beer called Iron City beer, and then they give the ball to the bus.
I will totally admit that I never knew pre-Megapod that the Pittsburgh accent was a thing, and I was on a call with somebody. This is it's like a virtual meeting. This guy's from Pittsburgh, and he starts talking exactly how Todd does his accent, and I was like, wait, is this some sort of sick joke? Like what? And all of a sudden, I put it to this guy's from friggin' Pittsburgh, and he was talking literally to a T, Todd, how you always do your accent. And I was trying so hard, I'm trying to keep a straight face, and I'm just dying laughing.
Did Jens wash your car? Worsh. WORSH is wash somehow. Worsh. Did Jens wash the car?
You think about it, all those cities, right? Like Boston has its accent, clearly, right? Park the car, Harvard Yard. New York has it.
Baltimore has it.
Baltimore has one. Philly has one that I cannot imitate.
It's a weird one. The Philly one's very hard to do.
Very hard to do. Like Tina Fey gave it a shot. She did pretty well with it on some show. Hey, Philly's really hard to do. And then DC, we don't really have one, I don't think.
I think the weirdest one is Maine. I was doing a Duke women's basketball game a few years ago, and the head coach was from Maine, and I was like talking to her before the game, and I was like, "Where are you from?" That one is weird too.
Yeah, they're very strange. Pittsburgh, I was with you, Ben. I had no idea. Ben, you're second and third.
All right, we are going to go to this is the Ron Pitts, Tony Baselli. If these guys are calling your game, your teams must suck. Play here as wow, a lot of memories watching like 05, 06 when the Packers were horrible. Got a lot around Pitts, Tony Baselli. The New Orleans Saints and Tennessee Titans. This is the game I'm going to go to. I'm seeing 2.5 pretty much everywhere. Is that the line, gents?
Yes, that is the line. As you would say, painted 2.5.
All right, I will lay the 2.5 with the New Orleans Saints against Will the Thrill Hills, Tennessee Titans. And as much as everybody's talking about this offensive Rookie of the Year campaign now for Tyler Shuck, how good he has been, yes, I've also been impressed with him, but nobody has talked at all about how good this Saints defense has really developed into down the second half of the year. I mean, they've been like on the season. I mean, even forget second half, like full season, Saints are 7th defensively yards per play against, 3rd against the run, 12th against the pass. This is a really, really good unit. Chase Young's kind of been revitalized to some sorts in that defensive scheme. And I know they just beat up on a completely hapless Jets offense last week, but I mean, Tennessee their offense has struggled the most this year when they face teams really good at defending the edges and defending the run. And that's exactly what New Orleans does. As someone, and I was with Will, like I had the Titans last week and watching that game really closely. I mean, their ability to move the ball was really predicated on the Chiefs just doing nothing on offense, the defense getting tired. I think the first 21 plays for the Titans, they had 65 total yards, right at about 3 yards a play. So I did not come away from that game thinking, all right, this Titans offense has really found something, and Cam Ward's turning into a legit quarterback here down the home stretch. I'm still not a believer at all in Tennessee. Still have them as one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the NFL. It's totally justified to me that the Saints are a road favorite here. They probably should be at least a 3-point road favorite. I think it probably gets to 3, so I will gladly lay the 2.5 with the New Orleans Saints for pick number 2.
Is Tyler Shuck gonna steal Rookie of the Year?
Oh, stop it.
No, I'm serious. He's the second shot now.
Who's the first shot?
Ederoa McMillan of the Panthers is the favorite.
Oh, he deserves
Tyler Shuck is now in second position.
Forget that.
Egbuka has dropped to third. Dart is all the way back to his original number, 22-1. But like Shuck's stats aren't even as good as Dart's.
How about Ederoa McMillan is fantastic. I'd much rather take him.
Well, we'll see. Just curious.
Also imagine, just one of those years. Imagine having Saints under 5.5 wins, and you're sitting there 5-10, and they get this and they go over. That's rough.
Dude, I have an alt season win total under on Willie's Vikings, under 7.5 plus 220, which I thought was going to coast in, and now I can't afford another win. Drive me nuts.
But Broad,
you might get there still, though.
What's that?
You might get there still.
I might get there. Yep. I need 2 more losses. That's it.
Who do you guys have in Louisville against Toledo in the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl? The United States' #1 city for fraud, white collar fraud, Boca Raton. They have the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl, Louisville.
Is that
Toledo.
true about Boca Raton, by the way?
It is. Yes, it is.
Oh, wow. I would say, you know what I would say? I would apply the MegaPod question to bowl season. If you had to make a play in all 40 bowl games, but you got 1 free pass, Louisville-Toledo might be that game. Because there's so many players missing on both teams. I don't know how you can possibly handicap that game.
Well, Gilly,
there's a lot of competition for that one. A lot of these games, brutal.
Gilly, there's 11 guys on each side of the ball right now. I'm watching.
All I know is Todd gave out first half, an in-game first half under, and forgot that Douglas Gottlieb no longer. He was a good on-ball defender in the '90s at Oklahoma State, but his Green Bay Phoenix don't exactly embody that sentiment, and they gave up 102 today to the.
But
Campbell
did you
Camels.
Get the over with 8 minutes left when I went for the Polish middle?
I did not.
Right. Okay. Well, it was a 1-1. So wipe that grin right off your face there, Mr. Wilson.
I'm just saying. I'm not, the first thing Gill mentioned today when I saw it.
Man's up 122 units. We're locked in on our loss this morning on it. Ben, what's your last one?
Third pick. We will go to the. Will's going to appreciate this. The Joe Buck. That is a disgusting act. And I can't believe I'm going to do this. Will that
is that from when Randy Moss made a duty on like a fake duty?
Yeah. Was that Joe
he pretended to moon the fans. He pretended to moon the fans. That was a playoff game. Yeah.
Right. And Joe Buck feigned disgust.
Yeah.
It's like that had to be the worst moment of his career.
Yeah, that was bad.
And the irony is because he gets killed for that moment, but I grew up in Wisconsin, huge Packer fan. We all at the time, my dad's nodding at the TV like, you're damn right. They should ban Randy Moss from the NFL for life. Like, we were so pissed. We were so mad because we hated the Vikings. We owned them at Lambeau when it was cold, and they went in there and just kicked Green Bay's ass in that wild card round.
Williams had a big day from what I remember.
It was, it was. Anyway, there was a sight to behold. So that is a disgusting act play because I can't believe I'm actually going to do this, but I'm going to go to the Tampa Bay Miami game. 5.5 everywhere. Is that what we got? Spread
5.5. Yep.
And I will take the Miami Dolphins against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers catching the 5.5. It really is as simple as I cannot believe at this point in the season, with all the evidence and data we have on Tampa Bay, that we are believing they are 7 points better than anybody on a neutral field. I mean, this is a team that on the season now are bottom 6 yard per play on offense, on defense. Baker Mayfield, if you look at some of the the advanced metrics like completion percentage over expectation, the EPA, those like composite leaderboards that they put together, he's been a bottom 8 quarterback now for really the last 2 months or so. I mean, it's been brutal with how banged up the offensive line is. They don't get any push. They're a bottom 5 run blocking O-line. Defense is completely cratered. They're 29th overall EPA in the second half of the season. I get that Miami looks like a completely dead team walking. And I mean, I don't know what Mike McDaniel's telling these guys at halftime. Like, if you told me he goes in there and has everybody light up a bowl with him, I would kind of laugh and then be like, it's actually not that implausible that Mike McDaniel would do that. And that's kind of how this Miami team has looked in the second halves of these games. But I mean, come on, we're talking like at least a 3-point premium on the team that has to win against the team whose season is over. I just disagree with the way this thing has gotten jacked up to 5.5. I don't think it should be any more than like Tampa 3. And I get they need the game, but there's no way, having watched this Bucs team close, I can get there. So I will just hold my nose. I totally expect Miami to be up like 10 early in the third quarter and then just completely melt and lose by 6. But I have to do it. I'm going to go Dolphins for the last play plus 5.5.
Ewers is the quarterback, right?
I am aware.
Again, Todd?
I am aware.
I said, Ewers is the quarterback.
Quinn Ewers.
I'm familiar.
The quarterback.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Bob's line, if a team is in a must-win situation, and I get it, Tampa Bay is not technically in a must-win, they could lose, and if Carolina loses, then they're still alive heading into that final game against Carolina. But he always says, if you're in a must-win situation, you must not be that good. And so that might apply to the Bucs. By the way, if they don't make the playoffs, I think Todd Bowles is done. Like, done for good, finally, in Tampa.
Nice guy.
Nice guy. Washington Redskins Super Bowl champion, Todd Bowles, I should mention. Thank you very much. Whose turn?
My
Todd,
turn.
Your last one. Oh, we already know your last one. It's the Niners.
Have the Niners minus 3. I looked at the thing and it showed that the Bears covered every single week ad infinitum. I had to go all the way back to, I think they pushed one game against Green Bay. Other than that, they covered every single game all the way back to the Ravens game when all I needed was Caleb Wilson to get the touchdown at the end, which was meaningless. They were down 14, and Caleb Wilson drove them all the way down to the 1-yard line. It looked like he was in with 30 seconds left, but they had no timeouts left, so they couldn't challenge it. And then on 4th down and goal at the 1, he threw to a wide open guy in the back of the end zone, 4 feet to his right, and that was the end of my bet. I lost 2 bets on that play. I remember it distinctly, but that's the last time the Bears did not cover a game. Now, they've done it with a lot of smoke and what?
But what did Caleb Williams do in those 2 games?
In those 2 games? What do you mean?
You said Caleb Wilson.
Caleb Williams, yeah. It's the same guy. Wilson Williams. Sure. They're similar. Sure. Anyways, we got Caleb Wilson on our guest today.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, Caleb Williams.
Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is the Bears have covered every single game forever. You can't cover forever. Now, the Niners have also covered, I think, 5 in a row as well. But come on. The Bears are not as good as the 49ers. The Bears have been doing a lot of stuff with smoke and mirrors. Look, I'm the first one who hated Caleb Williams. I also very quickly early this season realized that Johnson was getting in there and making him into a decent quarterback. So I'm high on the Bears. I love that Manung guy. I love the running game. I love what they're doing. I just don't think you can ask them every single week to pull something out of the deep recesses of their tuchas to get another cover. I mean, and now they're going to have to go to the Niners and get another one. I mean, come on already. It's ridiculous. Niners minus 3. I think the Niners continue to roll, and it's not like they're going against some idiot coach. Shanahan is a real coach, folks. He's going to have them all ready to go in that game. So give me the Niners minus the 3. Finally, the Bears little, 3-leaf, 4-leaf clover thing finally wears off, and the Niners get the cover.
I'm going to buy you a neck brace for your birthday so that you can be locked in front of the microphone.
Well, I have to write down all the information too.
The strategy against Todd in tennis is it's 2-pronged. Locate the fat man, hit the ball away from the fat man. With the mic, it's you got to locate the mic, Todd.
It's like you haven't been able to execute that strategy, have you?
I have not. I really haven't. By the way, the Niners have scored in 23 quarters in a row, and Thomas Morstead has not punted since November for the Niners. So I'll point that out.
By the way, they had up 3.5 for people who like to look at the quarters like Willie does, and Willie's fantastic. I know you guys like to make fun of Willie's 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, but the truth is he's fantastic at these third quarters.
We like to make fun Not you.
Everybody does.
That's right.
Everybody likes to. Anyways, but he's really good at these third quarters, and I'm surprised he didn't jump on it faster than me. But last night, the Niners came out with the ball in the start the third quarter, got a touchdown with about 10-15 to go, and I just quickly looked at the team totals because there's some books that have the team total for the third quarter. They'll still keep it up during the third quarter, and I saw the Colts were 3.5 under -130, which to me was like ridiculous because unless they got a touchdown that drive from say the 10-minute mark down to the 7-minute mark or the 6-minute mark or whatever if it was a 4-minute or 5-minute drive, by the time if they didn't get a touchdown, they weren't going to get another possession to be able to get more points. So to me, that was just such an obvious, third quarter team total under. Now I know most people don't have access to those, but there are some people that have access to those. So you got to keep an eye on those third quarters.
I do think it is worth saying once again because poor Willie, poor Will has had a tough season, and I just want to say it again. And in Will's behalf, for those who aren't familiar with Will, no person is more is more different from his MegaPod pre-flop NFL ATS record than his actual betting prowess than Will Hill. Needs to be said.
But it's anybody really, if you think about it, you weren't as good as 35-18 that year that you had the dream year. You remember you had the dream year? Even you admitted you weren't that good. You admitted it. Okay. And so really, and it's the same thing. It's a small sample size. Now, if you're going to bet, 700 college basketball games and win every one like Biff Tannen and Back to the Future, that's a whole different story. But we're talking about 46, 48 picks here, folks. People are going to go 14-32 who are very smart.
I like when you go to folks. That's my favorite Todd thing.
Folks.
When you call people folks. Will, what's your last one?
I have no fucking idea. I'm going to go, you know what?
Maybe that's the appropriate way to end it for Will. I don't know.
I'm going to go over 47.5 Jags and Colts. Just watching that game last night, Colts and Rivers actually moved the ball up and down the field. They couldn't stop anyone. The Jags are fine playing a game like that. There's not a third one I love. I don't know if you guys feel the same. This is probably the hardest week with all of the quarterback injuries, all of the quarterback uncertainty, a lot of meaningless games. It's not easy to find picks here. But I'll go over 47.5 here.
Okay. And my final one is for the second week in a row, second guessing lines in a row.
Toledo has the football.
What'd you say?
It's a fumble. Toledo has the football.
Oh, I did. What's your bet in it? What did you bet?
I did the announcement. By the way, I'm Ben Wilson in the sports book. No, I don't have a bet yet, but I do the people. I don't know how people don't want to kill me sometimes in the sports book because I'm like, touchdown! Holy cow! Look at that! Oh my God! I go nuts and people are just like looking at me like I'm crazy.
The only part of that sentence that was irrelevant was in the sports book. You just generally induce people wanting to kill you. Todd, by the way, Todd in the sports book, though, I will say this. The my most, if I had to rank most annoying Toddisms in a sports book, by far number one is him poking you 1,000,000 times about something. They just keep poking.
Because somebody, let's say somebody you're sitting with is on their phone constantly texting to someone who knows who, and you have to tell them about the third quarter under. You have to get their attention, so you have to poke them like, Kelly, look, Kelly.
A couple times I've come very close to trying to punch him in the face. A couple times.
When I met Todd, I met him at the sports book, and without even saying who he was to me, he just hands me a sheet of paper, and he's like, "Will you sign this?" And it was a petition to ban smoking at the South Point.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
You didn't even introduce yourself. You just look at me, you hand me the sheet of paper, like, "Hey, sign this. Can you sign it?" And I was like, "I mean, sure." And then as I'm doing that, you just like something happened and you just were like, "Then bet it."
The Jeffrey Barr.
You the then bet it moment. And I was like, who is this guy? What is going on? I signed your petition, by the way.
Not knowing your constituency, that had no chance to be passed. No smoking at South Point.
It never passed. It was not even close. They love that smoke.
Madison has come in twice now. She wants popcorn. My wife's not home, so there's a popcorn emergency brewing here.
All right, so we gotta wrap it up. Madison's about to blow. All right, my last one is the Panthers +7 and it's +7 or +7.5. I'm seeing both.
You guys make the call. He needs all the help he can get.
FanDuel and DraftKings both +7.5.
Yeah, 7.5 looks right.
Banger. Panthers +7.5 hosting the Seahawks. Again, I don't
know. I see a ton of sevens. Are you guys sure about that?
I see a ton of 7s, but at the 2 big spots, I see plus 7.5. So it's up to you.
I'm going to give you the 7.5 just because I feel bad for your record.
Thank you, Todd. It's very charitable of you, but it is legit at multiple books. There's no other handicap to this other than I do think the Panthers are chronically underrated. Bryce Young, who I thought was stinky and terrible forever, is actually a serviceable quarterback. And sometimes he makes plays where I'm like, oh my God, Bryce Young might be good. And I'm still not sure if he's good, but I'm just saying, sometimes I go, he might be good. I think it's too many points. Panthers have everything to play for. Again, the Panthers' magic number is 2. The Panthers could clinch this week if they beat the Seahawks and the Bucs lose to the Dolphins. Unlikely. It probably will come down to week 18 either way between the Seahawks. It should be between the Panthers and the Buccaneers for the NFC South title. But I'm taking the Panthers plus 7.5. I think the Seahawks have the ability to look very sort of pedestrian at times in some of these games. Obviously, they didn't look that way late against the Rams, but generally speaking, lately they kind of have. So I'm going to go Panthers plus 7.5 as my third play on that, which brings us to the final 2 questions of the day.
What about the teaser?
The teaser. I'm sorry. Sorry, Todd. Thank God you're here. Did I lose my teaser last week?
Yes, you did. You lost your
What did
teaser.
I have?
Because you took the Chargers, which worked, but you also went with the Lions, and the Lions did not win.
We were talking about that last referee sequence in that Lions-Steelers game, how if Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down on that collision,
they would have had another play.
They would have called it on the defense, right? It's just such an inconsistently called thing. But I think they got that right in the end, but I don't know about the play before that when they
pushed the guy away.
But the thing is, I've seen games, right? I've seen games where they call that on the defense, where the defender is basically taking a charge, and the wideout just barrels into him, and they're like,
I don't know
flag.
about, with 2 hands open, pushing like that. That was so egregious. I don't know. I thought it was pretty clear off.
I meant the other way around. You're correct. What did I mean? If that's Amon-Ra. Yeah, if Amon-Ra fell down, they might have called it on the defense. Anyway, teaser of the week. Ben, what's yours?
I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. It looks like they're taking money today. They're down to 1.5. It was 2, but I most likely will. I get them up to 7.5 if that's fair.
Yeah.
With just believing that game is going to be really tight, and Buffalo's run defense is, we've discussed ad nauseum, still really, really bad. As much as I'm not really buying into the Eagles' recent resurgence, I still believe they do enough to keep this game tight. And they've been the best overall defense in the league second half of the year. So I'm believing that'll be a 1-score game. Give me Philly plus 7.5, and I'll couple it with the I'll do the Giants plus 7.5 as well to dance along with Todd. I mean, if you can't keep a game within a single score against the pathetic nature of the Las Vegas Raiders, then I don't know what to say.
Dottie.
That's my exact one as well. Eagles to me, plus 7.5. The entire nation watching on the late game there. I believe the NFL wants that one close, folks. They're going to do everything they can to keep that one close. And there's no reason why it can't be close because the Eagles and Bills are both flawed, good teams. Give me the Eagles plus 7.5 and your G-Men plus 7.5. I've already told you why the Raiders stink.
Willie?
I'll take the Texans up to the 8.5. Or is it 8 or 8.5? 8. 8. All right. I'll take the 8. This should be a close game, low total, 2 good defenses. And I am with Ben on Philly. They should keep it close with that running game. So Philly and Houston, 2-teamer.
I'm going to go Philly and the Rams. Famous last words on the Rams. Watch the Falcons somehow come up and beat them.
What's the Rams? What's the Rams story again? What are they?
Rams are 8, I think. 8, consensus. Yeah, so down to 2.
Rams down to 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can do your 2-question thingamajig.
The 2-question thingamajig. Each and every Megapod closes with these 2 questions. Mm-hmm. First one: which of the big favorites? Ben Wilson is most likely to lose outright. Cowboys 7-point favorites at the Commanders. Broncos 13.5-point favorites at the Chiefs. The Bengals 7-point favorites hosting the Cardinals.
Lions, Vikings.
I didn't skip it. It's 6, so I'm skipping over it.
They took money while we've been on the air. They're up to 7.5. Yeah.
Let me start again. I can't even let me do the bit, for God's sakes. Cowboys 7-point favorites on the road against Commanders. Broncos 13.5-point favorites at the Chiefs. I'm going to start it again every time he interrupts me. Bengals 7-point favorites hosting the Cardinals.
The Lions
Seahawks
are 7, by the way, just so you know.
Seahawks. Are they 7 now?
Yes.
Oh, I don't see 7 on my board.
Ben just told you.
Wait, I see 6 and 6.5. Let me refresh. Let me see what happens this week. Oh, you're right. Lions 7-point favorites.
Oh, you're right.
All right. You're right. I'm sorry. I can admit when I'm wrong. Seahawks 7-point favorites on the road at the Panthers. And then Patriots 13.5-point favorites on the road at the Jetropolitans. God bless. And one more, Rams 8-point favorites on the road against the Falcons. Ben, I come to you from the future. I said one of those teams lost outright. Who is it?
I mean, who the hell are the Bengals to be laying 7 to anybody right now? I mean, I know that the Cardinals are super banged up, but come on. I mean, this is the worst defense in football, Cincinnati. I thought it was pretty funny, like all the shots on the sideline of Al Golden last week. Whenever they got the turnovers, it looked like they're acting like he's only waited till week 16 to finally have his defense show up, and they're acting like he's the savior over there on the sideline. I mean, give me a break. So it would not shock me after I've lost tons and tons of money on the Cardinals all year that this is the week when we're finally off of them, that they finally show up and win a game outright here.
Dottie.
I have the same thing. I don't know how you can make the Bengals a 7-point favorite over anybody with that defense. Ben has said everything I need to say.
Willie?
Bengals for me, too.
Wow. Really? I guess you're right. I want to come up with something else besides
It's a weird week. A lot of these teams could lose. It's just, it is a strange
I wouldn't be
week.
shocked if the Jags lost. To be honest with you, the Jags
they weren't an option, Todd. They are not an option. They're below
not?
7.
Oh, you're right.
This
week's not my fault.
I'll say I think it's probably them. I think it's probably the Bengals. The other one I'm thinking of is Detroit, though, for some reason.
Against Brosmer, though?
Yeah, forget it. Never mind. It's
How about the Falcons? Maybe the Falcons can pull one out of their ass against the Rams.
Maybe. Bengals consensus. All right. And then, Ben, you must play a side in every single game, but you get one free pass. One game you want no part of on the side. What's the game you have the least conviction on?
It's funny. I actually think the Chicago-San Francisco game, and it's mostly because I am like 0-19,000 betting the Bears this year. And the coup de grace was last week. I mean, I had a lot on Green Bay, and that was as sickening of as a loss as you will have to kind of suffer through. So only because, and like I agree with you guys, like I mean, San Francisco should be the right side. I think the line should be over 3. I can't sit here again and bet against this completely charmed team that gets every freaking break possible in the Chicago Bears. So I will sit that one out on Sunday night.
Todd from downtown.
From down around Acrisure Stadium and that. No, I'm going to say the Dallas Cowboys against the Washington Commanders.
That's mine.
I don't trust the Cowboys to win a game by 7. And of course, who knows? The Commanders can pull things out of their butt often. They're not that bad. And they were hanging around in that Eagles game. It wasn't like a total walkover, So I just don't want any part of that.
Well, if it's Mariota, and we don't know who the starting quarterback for the Skins is, but if it is Mariota, first of all, it wouldn't be 7 points at that point. Then Washington would absolutely be live, I would think. But Josh Johnson, good God, you see that pass he threw across the field that Cooper DeJean picked off?
We've seen Josh Johnson be good before.
If you want 15 seconds of giggles, go to Josh Johnson's Wikipedia page and just look at his itinerary.
It's insane. Remember, he had a resurgence with Washington like 7 or 8 years ago where he actually played well in the final couple of weeks. I don't know if it had him in the mix for the playoffs, but I remember like a Saturday game where they played the Titans and he was playing pretty well. And that's a long time ago. And even then, he was like the ultimate journeyman. Say 2018, right. Something like that. You remember that, Gilly?
He was old. That's right. Yeah.
There should be like a Hall of Fame for those guys, like Hall of Fame of complete journeymen, like the most journeyed journeyman out there.
Who's the NBA? Charles Jones or Joe Smith? People like that? That's like 14 teams or something like that. Oh, who's the guy in baseball? Who's the our grid baseball guys like Octavio
Grid?
Octavio's a good one. Rich Hill. Who's one? Edwin Jackson's been on a million teams.
Edwin Jackson's been on. When in doubt, just put Edwin Jackson in and see what happens. That's right. I think it's Saints Titans. I know a lot of people are all heavy on the Saints here. That's the game where you could tell me any outcome, I'd believe you. Saints blowout, Saints close, Titans blowout. I'd believe you. Either way. All right. We've done all we can do. Ben Wilson, everybody. I want to ask Ben to go through all of his play-by-play.
Please don't.
Again. But what's the next one? When's the next time we can hear you?
I think the next one, because right now we're kind of in this college hoops holiday break. I think I have G League basketball like January 2nd or something like that.
When's the next WCC?
That's usually on ESPN Plus, NBA, G League.
Nobody watches the G League, Ben. Come on.
Hey,
when's the next WCC? When's the next WCC game? That's what we want to watch.
I don't know yet. I'm not sure yet, honestly, on the January. I know I have Loyola Marymount. I'll have them at some point. I'm just not sure which game, because like the national networks have to decide which games they take.
You got to text me when you're doing a WCC.
I will.
Don't worry. Ben, is that the league with Pepperdine and Santa Clara? And...
Yeah, that's you got it, Gilly. Very good. It's not St. John's and UConn, like Willie was saying.
I think Gonzaga's in there also.
A lot of our listeners don't know the WCC teams. St. Mary's from Moraga is quite a good team. Do you know where Moraga is?
You probably don't even East Bay, baby.
Probably don't even know where Moraga is, do you?
Todd, are you going to come to the WAC tournament again this year in Vegas?
The problem is my hip. If my hip gets, when I sit on the airplane, it really aggravates my hip injury for like 4.5 hours. If I could somehow get somebody to pay for a first class ticket, somebody maybe sitting just to the right.
I was about to ask the most ridiculous question in Todd Wishnev history is, why don't you pony up for a first class ticket? Like against Todd's
have you
DNA.
I know a guy who's up like 122 units. Maybe he could help you out.
I don't care if I'm up. I could be up $1 billion and I'm not paying for it.
You don't understand. Like Todd has these principled things with money. Like if we go and we have sashimi that costs, Todd then does the math on how much one slice of sashimi costs based on the price. And
it insults me.
Crazy.
It's like when the Chiefs announced that they're going to have a new stadium built with $1.8 billion of taxpayer money, and they sell them like, oh, it's going to have economic profit. It's bullshit. That kind of thing drives me crazy, as does paying for parking, as does paying for sashimi, a slice of sashimi that's so small you need a microscope to see it for $35. I'm sorry.
It's so funny you say that thing about the Chiefs Stadium, though. They have this ordinance now, state-driven ordinance in California, where San Francisco must build a certain amount of new affordable housing. And so all these developers are like, oh, yeah, affordable housing. It's like not one of these fucking apartments is going to be affordable. Not a single one of them. It's all nonsense.
Right, but that gets into whole political nonsense. I'm talking about purely a sports thing, which is, why does a billionaire owner need to get billions of dollars from tax money? That's just disgusting on every level.
All right. Man won't eat sashimi, won't get himself a first-class ticket. That's for sure. Love how he immediately wanted it funded. Why don't you start a Kickstarter for that, Todd?
Yeah, if we have a taxpayer-funded first-class seat, I'll do it.
You can fly Spirit from Pittsburgh to Vegas for like
$20,
and then buy they have 2 rows of first class that you can buy for like $80. It's going to be like $100 ticket. It's not that expensive.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah. I took like 80 flights this calendar year. Sadly, I know way too much about travel.
But is first class on those airlines nice, or is it just nonsense?
The seat is exactly the same as you get on a Delta, United. There's no service, but you're just, all you want, Todd, is the seat. So you might as well do that.
There's a first class seat on Spirit that's different than the regular seats. You're saying?
Yeah, it's the first. It's called. You would like it, Todd. It's called the Big Front Seat, just made specifically for Todd Wishnev and his big.
Oh, that's perfect. Hey, now,
all right, now he's coming.
Talking.
That's it.
Then you're talking now. Now you're talking my language, baby.
All right. Todd Wishnev, at T Wishnev. The Discord is closed for now. You had your chance to get in the college basketball Discord. Maybe he'll open it up again. Maybe at some point, Todd.
I don't want to destroy all college basketball betting forever.
I'm costing Todd money just for him doing this podcast right now, he tells me. So we got to go. Madison, Will's daughter, needs popcorn. Will Hill, Should Have Bet More podcast. When's the next one?
Wednesday. Coming out Wednesday. And
who's on the latest? Who's on the latest?
Monday, we had Jeff Schwartz, good friend of the MegaPod. I forgot to recruit him back to the MegaPod. I don't want to overstep my bounds, but I was hoping to mend the fences and get him back on the MegaPod with our buddy Todd.
Recruit him back. See what happens. Thank you all for listening. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Good luck with all your bets. Week 17 in the National Football League.